Hi you guys, welcome back to Bright Violet Arts. My name is Valerie and today I am going to set up my bullet journal for the month of April 2022. My theme this month is Zen Doodles, or as they're often called, Zentangles. Zen doodling is deceptively simple. It appears to be very complicated because the patterns can be quite intricate, but the process of doodling it is very relaxing and simple, and it does put me in a state of mellow relaxation. My supplies this month include a craft paper notepad from Archer and Olive, as well as Posca pens. So I've got a fine line of black and white. Most of my doodles will happen with the fine lines. And I also have black and white in a larger size for coloring, as well as a set of colors that I've chosen based on how they complement each other and how they fade together in an ombre rainbow way. My journal is an A5 size notebook from Archer and Olive, and I am going to be masking off a couple of boxes here to protect a border from my paint pen. And I'll do that on each side of the spread. I'm lining up my paint pens in rainbow color order, like Roy G. Biv order. Every time I use them this month throughout all of these pages, I'm going to always keep the colors running in that same order. Right now I'm creating kind of a color fade or like a rainbow fade background with the paint pens by drawing in some like rough, kind of abstract, stripy shapes. And once the first coat is down, I'm going to come back and put a second coat just on the edges between the colors and use my fingertip to blend the paint while it's still wet. That second coat always takes a bit longer to dry than the first coat because it's not absorbed into the paper. So you have maybe a second or two longer before the paint is dry that you can use your fingertip to blend. It is a little messy, as you see, but the paint pen comes off skin very easily with soap and water. Now I'm using a circle template to draw some random various size circles all over the background, and these are going to provide a framework for my mandala designs within the Zen Doodles. When I doodle mandala designs in a circle shape like this, I will start at the center and just draw one type of shape all the way around the circle, and I will complete that one shape before I move on to the next type of shape. This way it helps me keep everything more or less symmetrical. I can focus on one detail at a time and just make sure all those details are uniform before I go on to the next detail. And I think that is the reason that Zen doodling, looks hard but really isn't, because you do just work on one element at a time. I would like to give some kind of instruction on how to do this in a longer format. So if there is any interest in the comments from any of you guys, if you would like to see a video that I explain my Zen doodle process more specifically with more instruction, just let me know and I'll be happy to provide a little tutorial on it. I love the way the white paint pen over top of the black adds extra dimension to these doodles. I think the white paint pen is the most fun of all the steps for this process because you can just kind of fly over the doodles. It goes really, really fast just to color them in, and it sort of makes everything pop. It brings everything to life. To add the name of the month here, I'm going to sketch it out in pencil first using guidelines that I've drawn in, and then I am using a thick black paint pen to write in that word. I'm coming back for drop shadows by switching out all the rainbow Posca pen colors, and then to clean it up at the end, I'm going to do one final coat of the black. Using a straight edge, I am adding just an inside line to that box, and it's like a small little detail, but I think it adds a lot of style. And here's my quote for this month, and it's a good one. It's one I think that I need to be reminded of all the time, as I am constantly striving to be a better adult. All right, as I am setting up my calendar here, it reminds me that April of last year was the first time I ever filmed a Plan With Me video for YouTube. So I am celebrating that. I'm celebrating my first full year of sharing my journal on this channel and interacting with you guys, in the comments, and then also over on Instagram. I would say especially on Instagram. I just love being part of the journaling community. I love the way that artistic knowledge and technique is shared so freely. From a planning perspective, being part of the bullet journal community has really influenced the way that I think about self-care and time management and my priorities. Overall, the bullet journal lifestyle has just really worked out well for me in terms of, like an artistic and creative journey that is ultimately rooted in the idea of self-worth and self-care, self-expression. So I, just wanted to take the time in this video to express my gratitude to everybody in this community just for doing what you do. And if you don't consider yourself part of this community yet, then consider joining us. You can always subscribe to my channel, of course. I'm also at Bright Violet Arts on Instagram. I've linked that in the description box below. But more importantly, I have linked a list of just a few of my favorite creators in the journaling space and in the planning community, stationery community, art community, the places that influence me the most. And if you're not already a big fan of those people, you might want to check them out and see what some of the best of the bullet journal community has to offer. Okay, so what I'm doing is cutting out Dutch doors right now. I'm cutting out enough for all of my weekly spreads for the whole month of April. So to get 4 weeks, I need to cut 3 pages. This concept of a wavy line page edge with the color band separating each page, I saw this on another creator's account on Instagram. It is, I believe it's Casey's Bujo, and I'm going to link that post in my description if you want to check it out. I am using an accent of a craft paper panel on this page and on a few other pages in this monthly setup, just because I really like the way that the earthy, rustic feel of craft paper contrasts with the super bright, almost day glow colors of the Posca pens. And then over on the opposite panel, I'm just using the same technique as I used for the cover page. Because the art is pretty busy on this page, I wanted to keep the daily boxes and the days of the week, the text really simple and small. And I had some day of the week stickers that were a perfect fit. So I ran into this funny feeling when I was looking at the Dutch doors as I was working on this. And the issue for me was that, the month has 4 weeks in it, but there were only 3 stripes for my Dutch doors. And I don't know if it is just a mental hang up or what, but it really bothered me that there was not a 4th color stripe for the 4th week. So I just added one on the craft paper, and it made me feel better instantly. Okay, so this is a mood tracker, and it is my first mood tracker ever. I have been bullet journaling now for about 2.5 years, and it has not ever been important to me to track my mood before. I can't really like explain it, and it seems silly to me now that I used to think this way. But I did. I had this feeling that it was like frivolous information, that it was like self-indulgent to be recording that in a notebook. I just had like certain ideas about tracking my mood, like that I was too old for it, or just all these weird misconceptions and preconceived ideas about what it meant to track my mood. It was like if I acknowledged it, then I might, God forbid, be forced to deal with it, like recognize a pattern or, glean some personal knowledge about myself based on what this mood tracker reveals. I really think that was the real issue. And, just subconsciously, I was blaming it on like being too cool to track my mood. But anyway, I've definitely changed my mind this month, and I want to give it a shot because I do think that it will be enlightening for me, no matter what the outcome is, just as long as I keep up with it. That's the hard part, keep up with it every day. To round out the last spread of this setup, I wanted to go for another quote page, and I used a whole sheet of craft paper for this one. And I am again repeating the same technique from previous pages. This time I'm just trying to keep it within the border of a heart shape that I've drawn. And another difference is I didn't use any washi tape to protect the edge of the heart shape. And that's because I'm gonna be covering up any imperfect edges with my thick black paint pen. I chose a quote for this page that would tie together with my whole theme. So I wanted it to be appropriate for like a meditative Zen vibe. The rest of this spread is for memory keeping. These boxes are frames for photos that I'm going to attach. I like to choose photos, usually they're like candid photos from my cell phone that I print out and attach here. Okay, now it's time for a short flip through of all the spreads I made today. Thank you again so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more. As always, the comments are open if you have any feedback or questions. I enjoyed making these pages so much. It's certainly my favorite theme that I've done so far in 2022. It might be my favorite theme ever. I mean, I say that every month, but this time I mean it. All right, guys, until next time, I wish you a month full of health, happiness, and creativity. And as always, I wish you happy journaling.